Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today we will be talking about the new update, which is some of the new greatswords that is coming out in T3 and whatever we got aside from Archboss. So right now we don't really have that many greatswords as a replacement of our legendary greatswords. If you have a legendary greatswords, then I don't think you should get any other greatswords other than the legendary, because in the end of the day, the heroic one is still gonna be a way better greatswords than whatever we have. But passive-wise, it might be interesting. Now, let's talk about it. There's basically 5 new greatswords that's coming up in T3, which is the Adentus, the Junobot, the Morokai, and those are the ascended T1 bosses pretty much. And let's talk about the 2 other one that just got added, which is the Broadsword of Resistance. It's just nothing, really. It's just a stat stick. It's probably one of the worst greatswords out here, but yeah. And then the interesting one is the co-op dungeon one that we got. It's called the Silver Reaper Judgment's Greatsword. So this greatsword is one of the interesting greatswords because the passive that you got. Heavy attack, you have 80% chance to silence the target for 5 seconds, which is a cooldown of 15 seconds. In my opinion, as of right now, this greatsword is not that great because it's really hard to prio your heavy and rely, like, making sure have a cooldown in your brain saying like, all right, in 15 seconds I have a cooldown and one of my passives is going to be ready in 15 seconds. Let me just find a prio target and silence them that way. And it's really hard because heavy attack is not consistent. Like, heavy attack is kind of like crit, but a little bit harder maybe, because like, how are you going to be hitting consistent heavy attack? It's kind of hard to tell, and some of the numbers are the same color as the regular damage number. So in that regard, it's pretty hard to tell when did you heavy it and how do you silence the enemy. So in my opinion, the passive is interesting, but it's just a really hard greatsword to pull off because, again, you can only silence them once and then it has 50-second cooldown. So yeah, it's just the cooldown is too long. I feel like if it has like 3-second cooldown, then it might be meta. But as of right now, it's the cooldown is too long. I mean, aside from the stat, like the stat and all that's pretty good because basically it gives you perception and strength, which you need on Greatsword Spear as a greatsword anyway. I would say the hit is really good because you want hit chances as a greatsword anyway. It comes with a lot of hit. Attack speed is really good too because, again, it's a slightly faster greatsword than the legendary greatswords or some of the greatswords that we got in T2, but again, the additional attack speed helps it. The attack speed traits that's gonna come with it too, it's gonna be helping it a lot. So in my opinion, it's still a decent amount of greatswords, but yeah, it's not reliable to use the passive. That's all I got about it. But next we got the Morokai greatsword. This is basically, people are saying, the Tavern Killer. This greatsword in general, it has a little bit lower base damage than the Silver Reaper, but the passive is pretty strong. Whenever you apply a stun or shock, you have a 50% chance to deal 600% of base damage. If you don't know what 600% of base damage is, that's basically 150% damage, base damage less than a guillotine. Not a charged guillotine, just a regular ass guillotine. So it's still a lot of damage. And then whenever the lightning bounds, it's gonna do an amplifying damage of 50% with each chain. So again, that one, you can get like so many random kills if you have high cooldown speed that you just keep stunning people and then you can maybe kill them. You can just like kill random targets. But other than that, it's one of the most interesting greatsword for sure. It gives you wisdom, dexterity. The wisdom, I would say, it's kind of becoming a meta in Greatsword Spear. Before, you don't really want to build wisdom, but nowadays with so many stat points available to you, you might just want to be able to build a wisdom, get 50 wisdom, have cooldown speed, and it's gonna help your gameplay a lot. But yeah, the other good thing about all the Tier 3 greatsword is the amount of traits options that you have. Pretty much almost every single greatsword in the loot table has a attack speed trait on it, so it's definitely gonna help with how greatsword plays. With high attack speed greatswords, it's not gonna get bottleneck or anything like that. And the base attack speed on Morokai greatsword, it's so good. It's 67, which is one of the fastest greatswords out there, other than the T1 greatswords. But yeah, 67 is really good for greatsword, and Again, it gives you hit. You need hit anyway. It gives you cooldown speed. You want cooldown speed. It gives you wisdom. You kind of want wisdom. It gives you dex. It gives you everything. Like, it gives you pretty much anything you want. But as a passive, the passive is pretty strong. You can put it on a heroic greatsword and see the result for yourself. But yeah. The next, we will have the Junobot. So the Junobot is, I think base damage wise, is one of the highest one in the game for sure. The minimum damage is kind of low. So if you want to build heavy, it might hurt you a little bit. But the max damage is one of the highest one. It's really close to legendary, to heroic greatsword, which is insane. As just a T2, T3 greatsword, it's so close to its heroic like perspective. The only problem is you kind of have stun chance in this build, but again, you might want to build it because some people are building Caesar resist. So if people do build Caesar resist, then stun chance is definitely gonna help with conquering that Caesar resist. But yeah, the passive is pretty good too. When hitting an enemy, 15% health or lower with greatsword skills increases shock, stun, duration by 1.5%. So pretty much it's just gonna stun you for forever, and pretty much the item has a 3-second cooldown. So that's what's happening. If you basically if you stun someone that's low, if you can stun a tank, which you can pretty much burst it if you have stun chance, then you're pretty much gonna be stunning people for a really long time. So usually maybe you want to use it as a tank. You don't really want to use it as DPS because like you don't really want to rely on your devastating too hard to the point where you sacrifice damage. But it's an interesting greatsword passive for sure, but it's not one of the best one. I would say it's more like a utility greatsword. But yeah, if you want to play a CC bot playstyle, then sure, feel free to run this. So as again, the max damage is pretty interesting. The only downside to it, it's the super low attack speed of the greatsword. 0.8, one of the slowest greatsword in the game, if not the slowest. It has no attack speed trait on it. So yeah, use it out of your own mind. I would say this is just a tank. This is just an easy tank greatsword because tank don't really need the attack speed. So in my opinion, if you're a tank, ask your guild for this or something. But yeah. Alright, and the final one, Adentus. Adentus is one of the strongest, if not the best T3 greatsword out there as of right now. It pretty much kinda overshadows whatever a single target build. It's up there with a Cordy, but still I think in my opinion Cordy is still better. The reason is because greatsword passive only procs on greatsword. You only get the bonus damage basically if you have 36k HP, which you can get it so easy nowadays with the leather buff, a lot of the materials buff pretty much. You can get it so easy to reach 36k. You have so much base damage on this greatsword. Yes, the max damage is pretty low, but again, you have a passive that gives you 14.4% more base damage if you put it on. What people usually do is you put this on a heroic greatsword and watch that shit goes bonkers. Like, it's an insane greatsword if you put it on a heroic greatsword because it scales off your base damage, and basically heroic greatsword has the highest base damage of them all. We were thinking back in T2, we were like, oh, what if we just put Adentus passive on this heroic bad boy? Then now you can do it, and it's a better passive than T1 greatsword Adentus. So try it out, see it for yourself if you want to one-shot people or not. But if you have a legendary spear and you run this is actually pretty good too, because the greatsword Adentus is one of the quickest greatsword too. It's 0.7, it's not 0.67 like Morokai, but it's still 0.7 attack speed base. So your attack speed is gonna be way faster, and you have an attack speed trait on this one. It gives you max health on the greatsword, it gives you crit on the greatsword, it gives you dex, it gives you strength, pretty much Tevent, but better, right? So I don't see Tevent, to be honest, I don't see Tevent really surviving in this new meta. I think Tevent as a base stat is already kind of low right now. And then with all the other passive that's coming in from T1, ascended T1, basically, Tevent is gonna be looking super weak. I don't think you wanna, I mean, if you have it, you're still gonna use it for sure, but you wanna aim to get some other greatsword that's better. And again, Tevin is still a good greatsword for AoE, but with the amount of Cordy ones that's out there, it's just pretty rough to run Tevin in my opinion in order to proc it properly. But if you can proc it in a clump, it's still gonna do a lot of damage, especially the standard version one. But yeah, so if you want me to rate the greatsword, the worst is gonna be the Supreme Greatsword of Resistance. You don't want to run this at all. And I think as a DPS, Junobot is one of the worst one because again, attack speed is low, you don't really want to run it. Passive is kind of it's for utility, for tanks. I think if you're a time bomb tank though, Junobot is an ass. I really think that. If you're a time bomb tank, your stun lasted for so long, then you can just bomb people with it. Like it might be insane for time bomb tanks, but for DPS, Junobot is one of the worst ones because again, the low attack speed and all that. Silver is the third one I would say in this list. Second one will be Morokai, and the first one will be Adentus in my opinion. I think Morokai still has potential for sure, but again, the 50% chance to deal base damage just makes it so that the Greatsword is so inconsistent. So I really don't have a strong opinion on it because again, how inconsistent it is. And you pretty much only have 3 stuns in a Greatsword Spear. If you think about it, you pretty much only have Stunning Blow, Devastating, and if you have it on Spear, you have the Abyssal Cleave. And that's pretty much the only stun that you pretty much have. So again, there's not that many skill that can proc this. It has the same problem as Tevin, where it doesn't really have a skill that proc it. And it'll feel bad if you stun someone and it's not doing anything. Like, if you lost the 50-50 chance, then that means this Greatsword it's just a empty passive slot on your Greatsword. So yes, it's good, but I would still prefer Tevin, I think, over this because how consistent Tevin is. But again, I could be wrong. It could be just like some random ass one shot, like just keep on coming random everywhere. But with the amount of HP that people are going to be having, I don't think people are going to get one shot by the freaking lightning. But again, it is what it is. But that's my rank. Adentus still number 1. You just hit that you just hit that guillotine with so much damage. You're probably gonna be running like 18k times 2 damage with Adentus heroic. But yeah, and that's it for me today. And I think overall this Cordy is still gonna be number 1. Unfortunately, I think Cordy's as a passive is just basically Adentus with securing its kill, right? It's just it is what it is. Like especially with the standard version one, it's gonna be way stronger. So we'll see. The T3 Archbishop is around the corner, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And if you guys haven't already, I stream on Twitch. Check me out. And if you guys need some Twitch drops, I'll be streaming it. And yeah, and I'll see you guys on the next one, guys. Bye bye. Thank you for watching.